I just need to figure out, like, I've been needing to find out, like, because I was pretty new to all this shit. You know, I'd heard little bits here and there, but she took a deep dive on it yesterday. A friend brought it up. And, yeah, I just want to know, like, was it, like, the biggest of its time? Like, was it, like...
biggest ever. Still the biggest
ever. No, I know it was the biggest accident to ever happen.
No, biggest radiation thing ever.
No. What do you mean big? Like it happening was the biggest radiation thing to ever happen?
Yes.
Like it like shutting, like fucking up?
Yes.
Right. But was it the biggest like reactor of its kind? Like, are there more potential facilities the size of Chernobyl?
Oh, like it wasn't the biggest plant kind of thing?
Was it like, setting a record for being the biggest thing out there?
I have no idea. It was the biggest nuclear disaster of all time.
Yeah, so far that's it.
I don't want to say it's the biggest nuclear disaster of all time.
It definitely was by a mile.
How about accident? The biggest nuclear accident
no,
of all time.
It wasn't.
I'm going to say Hiroshima or Nagasaki is the biggest.
No, Chernobyl has still killed more people.
No,
if you're measuring it by people killed by it.
No, I mean, how well, seeing when we had a friend over who was arguing with Josh, and they were both kind of getting into it. It was funny because he was, my buddy Ethan was saying, you know, a lot of the studies that bring up the numbers for Chernobyl is like hard to quantify things. Like they're like that, you know, there was 60,000 cancer deaths in the area over the next 20 years. But come on, you can't count all those for Chernobyl and blah, blah, blah.
Well, Chernobyl...
I don't think its death count has surpassed 150,000.
Chernobyl's different because it's I don't know. I was reading all this stuff, and there is a way to like measure radiation, and I can't remember the term that they use, but like Fukushima's radiation.
Well, you're probably
measurement.
right that it like goddamn, I can't think of the word either. It's eluded me. Fuck. Yeah, no. I was just specifically meaning in terminology as far as like death count.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's had the highest death count. Surely.
I believe it has. I mean, yeah, Chernobyl, they had to,
from what I can find, it's just the worst nuclear power plant accident. Because there's, like, even another one that it lists that's, like, comparable to Chernobyl.
Are they, is it Fukushima?
No. It was a power plant in the Ukraine.
That's Chernobyl. Chernobyl's in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to evacuate. There's a 1,000-mile radius around Chernobyl that like is unusual. There's like abandoned neighborhoods and shit, and like everything within 1,000 miles is just like abandoned. It's a ghost town. That's never happened before. That's the only place that's ever happened.
Fucking wow! You're saying Fukushima's like 180 miles.
I think it was like 140 443 miles or something like that. Radius. Yeah. Fucking crazy, dude. But yeah, like the biggest scary part about all this is like there's just like this radiation and like it's highly concentrated. What I was getting at before was like they know there's a way to measure. It's a weird word. I don't remember the word. I'm not an expert on this shit. I was just reading about it a couple days ago. On they measure the radiation, and Fukushima is emitting like hundreds of this measurement of radiation. In Chernobyl, it was like thousands. It's just like highly concentrated radiation. But nobody knows what to do about it. They're saying that there's like radiation lava on this site.
I'm also going to say, yes, Chernobyl was the biggest nuclear plant disaster, but it did not kill that many people.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, not outright.
It's only killed 31 people.
Well, that's what she was saying. The people who was working on it, and led to lots of cancer though and stuff later on.
Yeah.
But it's argued how much you can like definitively credit to it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like,
or at least that was the argument being made here.
If we're talking about like deaths, then like there's not been very many like deaths on any of the nuclear things that I read about. Like there weren't very many deaths directly, but the lives impacted. Chernobyl is by far the biggest, and the concentration of radiation emitting from the site is by far the biggest.
Right. Well, really, I was just trying to be clever earlier. I was like, well, not the biggest radiation accident ever. Fukushima, fuck. I'm not Fukushima, but
Hiroshima.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Yeah. No. Yeah. True. True.
That was a.
Yeah. I didn't even read about
disaster.
that shit. Yeah. I can't really like. I don't really
They don't
know how
compare
that would
it.
compare.
Yeah,
I mean, it killed 150,000 people roughly. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it
numbers
killed
go,
a
up.
lot.
Yeah. Each one.
Instantly.
What if they just like insist that Chernobyl is the worst to like take the attention away from Hiroshima?
And I'm in the room like, there was that one time.
No, there wasn't. Shut that
Like,
man up.
Nope. It's Chernobyl.
Chernobyl is the worst. What are they talking about? They don't make games about Hiroshima.
Since we're in news and conspiracy, I have to mention that, it's always... It struck me as weird when I found out that the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima was a different kind than the one dropped on Nagasaki.
Yeah.
They dropped the plutonium on one and the uranium on the other.
Oh.
It's like they were testing
did.
them to see which one.
Yep. Figuring out which one is the worst.
Was, more effective.
Well, it's also a weird flex to let the people know that you just hit them. Like, we just hit you. Those were two different kinds of bombs, homie.
Right.
You don't
We got
even
5
know what
more.
other kind of bombs we have.
Right.
You don't even know.
We got 5 more.
That shit's insane.